Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the JJSports podcast. I'm Josh,
Joey.
and there's a lot that's been going on around the big four sports recently. A little more happening in other sports, specifically more on the baseball side, the football side, and even the hockey side. But we can't leave basketball out of it. So, Joey, I'm going to have you kick it off. What do we have for basketball this week?
We got one interesting piece of news today for basketball because, we got to cover all these sports. So, hold on a second. I just want to pull this up. So, in the world of basketball, the NBA, PA, and NBA has decided when we're going to resume we're going to start a new season, the 2020-2021 basketball season. And that day is just a few days before Xmas Day. That day is December 22, as you can see here. And they decided to do it a 22 for a 72-game season. So, Josh, what do you think about the idea that we're having a very, very quick new start to the season, like a very short off season for these teams? They really have to go quick on the free agency and the mask and training and everything. And what do you think about the shortening of the season to 72 games, which is basically kind of what they had this year, although that was unplanned?
Yeah, so the shortening of the season doesn't surprise me at all. I think every single sport, maybe not baseball, depending on where we are with the pandemic. I know that's a longer way down the road, but specifically with basketball, because football's already in swing, and it's the next thing to start between the big four sports that are not playing right now. I'd have to say I do like the idea of starting it up quick because the off season, like, let's face it, there was a bubble, right? More teams have been away for longer periods of time, right? Or they've been, I don't know, since the off season started, at least since the bubble began, like other teams were more cautious about it. So I think they've had enough time to recoup. The NBA has been able, I'm sure, to devise a plan that could help limit or completely just cut out COVID cases that their players end up getting. And on top of that, I do like the fact how it's not about half as many games as a season normally would be. You're cutting 10 games out of the season. You're starting it roughly about, I think by December it would be about like a month and a half into the season. You'd probably be able, and they play a lot more frequently than they play fairly frequently in the NBA. So I like the idea. And I'm happy with the fact that the off season's been as short as it was because at least in my opinion, basketball, not including baseball obviously, but basketball I think is the easiest sport to play as frequent as possible. And I don't think you need as much time to rest in an off season than you do through, for example, football or hockey. Um, Baseball. We'll get to that later.
Okay, so I think we're good on basketball, right? We agree that this needs to be done because a lot of teams have been out of it since the bubble, and they need to get back into it as soon as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think we can move on?
I think we can move on unless you have any other thoughts.
No, I don't. Anyway, Josh, so we're going to baseball, and sadly, the Houston Astros scandal continues. The legacy of cheating, as I would say. Want to tell us about that, Josh? You want me to pull up the thing, or you're just gonna?
You can pull it up.
Who should I do first?
It's your choice.
Okay. Yeah, Josh, this is I'm pissed.
Yeah, I can understand that, especially you being a fan of a team the Astros really hit upon to within that cheating scandal to get to the levels of the game that they played in, and even to have successfully won a title. But with that being said, Um, I'm trying to forget. I shouldn't say I'm trying to forget, but at this point, they've had their suspensions, right? I know a lot of fans, especially fans of either division rivals or teams that the Astros really beat hard within that time period during that cheating scandal. I know they're also very upset, but at this point, I mean, yeah, going deep into the playoffs, maybe the cheating scandal obviously really had a lot of implications there. Maybe they would not have been nearly as successful without it. But with that being said, they won their title. They haven't won anything since. Yes, they've had a World Series appearance. Yes, they've been to the ALCS twice, but still nothing much really to show for that beside that one title. They've been second fiddle to a couple of teams, uh, almost by a landslide. And I want to say that I don't mind Alex Cora being rehired. I don't mind AJ Hinch being rehired. We'll get to that later.
Okay.
But for now, Alex Cora, I like him back as the Sox manager. And maybe this is a step, like I think a big part of their reason for not having such a successful year was he brought a guy in Ron Renicky, who's a good manager overall in his career, but almost no knowledge of the system the Red Sox like to play. And now Alex Cora, who's done it for a very short amount of time, only 2 years as the Red Sox manager. But I mean, it's what he's done with that team in that short amount of time. I think that, if they get an acquisition here or there, one of the big free agents on the market, then maybe they can come right back to competing again.
Well, Josh, no offense, but the whole time you're talking about, oh my God, it's amazing what he did in such a short time. Renicky didn't know the system. You know what that sounds like to me? It sounds like, oh, Cora was really successful because he benefited on a system that helped him cheat by stealing signs, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And maybe that's why he had the success he had. Because
Well,
when you
it,
look at
it,
when he left, Boston didn't cheat. Boston had one of the worst seasons I've ever seen. Like, so now,
but you also have to take into account who they were missing. No Eduardo
we're missing.
Rodriguez, no David Price, no Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts, I think it's pretty clear, pretty safe to say he's a
Yeah,
top
but Mookie Betts,
player.
I hate that people assume Mookie was the only part of that team. Okay, that was like the years where everyone was safe, right? Price was a good then, right? Sale wasn't injured. JD Martinez lit up that year.
Well,
Bradley.
look, they're missing two. They on paper, the team overall was missing two out of those three pieces, just not being on the team. And another one of those pieces, as you mentioned, Chris Sale didn't play this season; he was injured.
Yeah, but how much can one pitcher make a difference? He can only make a difference every five games. Like that's not. It's not going to help you. You need multiple pitching. They don't have any pitching. Their best pitchers they sent to the Phillies. Like, I don't
I
know.
mean, I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I think Chris Sale is still a top 10 pitcher in the game when healthy. I think that Eduardo Rodriguez is shaping up to be a very nice piece in that lineup. Nathan Eovaldi is another good piece in that lineup. I also like Martin Perez. He had a nice season for at least the outcome of what the Red Sox were dealing with all year. He
Eovaldi
shown.
had the worst ERA opening day as a starter, like I've ever seen.
And
So
that's fair to say. But look, 2020, I'm not defending the Red Sox for what they've done in the past, what Alex Cora has done in the past. But 2020, as we know, in many aspects, has been a very, very weird year. So many things unexpected have happened in all of sports.
that
Um,
Dodgers
I,
one, that was unexpected.
I don't believe. I mean, it wasn't like I don't think it was expected for the Red Sox to make the playoffs this past year, but I definitely don't think it was expected for them to. I think it was the fourth worst record in the MLB. I think they have the
Yeah, it
fourth
was
overall
pretty
pick in the
bad.
draft.
It's pretty
That
bad.
was not expected.
It
There was
was
no
like
way.
Baltimore level. It was close.
Even yeah, like even to think there was no way anyone expected. I mean, look, the Marlins made the playoffs.
That
Like
was really
just
awesome.
to give you like just to show a few other examples. The Marlins and the White Sox both made the playoffs. Nowhere near the level of contention people thought they'd be. Thought they'd be closer, but not playoff worthy right away.
Yeah, but
I mean, for the first time since Jake Peavy, I think, back in the early 2000s, we're gonna have a pitcher win the Triple Crown. Like that doesn't happen often either. So a lot of different things.
you're talking about Bauer? Who you talking about?
No, Shane Bieber.
Bieber, okay.
Unless there was maybe there was another pitcher. Maybe Kershaw won it in
Probably
between the two
probably
guys.
Bieber. Probably Bieber. That's crazy. Jake
But
Peters.
just to throw out some examples, I don't think that this is going to be something we see consistently from the Red Sox as one of the worst teams in the AL, let alone the MLB.
Well, we'll
Um,
see. We'll see. We'll see.
yeah, we'll see where it goes. This could either be really good for the Red Sox or really bad. We'll see.
All right. Anyway, so speaking of Cora, his partner in crime, AJ Hinch, also got a job. Thankfully, he was not rehired by the Astros. He was hired by the Detroit Tigers. So maybe that will be a good enough comeuppance for him that he gets to be the manager. Maybe this is a real test. Maybe we'll know if he's cheating again, or maybe he actually is a good manager, and we'll know because he's managing Detroit. You know, like this was like probably the worst team this year, if not Baltimore. You know, like
Baltimore was not the worst team.
not Baltimore, Boston. Boston was really bad. But yeah, like this was a really bad team. Like them, Kansas City, like those were historically bad, you know? What do
I
you
mean, so are the Pirates, but
Yeah, that's true, but I never even think about the Pirates. Like they're not even a thought in my head.
okay, moving on.
So what do you think?
I like the move for AJ Hinch. I personally, I'm a neutral fan. I'm a Mets fan for those who, if I haven't made that clear, who don't know. So I don't have any positive or negative thoughts toward AJ Hinch. I know that the clear mastermind behind the whole thing was Alex Cora. Now it doesn't excuse AJ Hinch. I'm not going to go out that far to say that. But I will say that I do think that bringing in AJ Hinch from any team, maybe not the Red Sox in their case, because if you would have had him and Cora together, then it would look really bad or even worse. Then I do think AJ Hinch being brought in as a manager for any team that was looking for a new manager or was looking for some kind of upgrade was definitely the right move, because he showed that even before that scandal began in his earlier years of managing, that he could develop a team well. I mean, he took that 2014 Astros team that was awful. I think they were one of the worst teams in baseball that year. And he took them to the playoffs the next year. And he took them like they went on a run. And that was before this whole crazy scandal
Yeah.
began, back when Correa was a rookie and Springer was in his mid to late 20s and Altuve was really starting to hit that mark of one of the top players in the game. And now, you bring him into this Tigers team, which is one of the bottom teams in the league, but they're getting better. They've tried to make acquisitions. I mean, I liked what they did this past offseason, not right now, the coming into the 2020 season, where you brought in a guy like Jonathan Scope, right? You had some young guys. Matt Boyd is still a young pitcher. Yeah, CJ Crone also after a nice season with the Twins. Like, they have some pieces. Now, I definitely don't think they're ready for a playoff run yet, but I do think they're heading in the right direction. And they have some prospects in their prospect pool also who could maybe come up, give the Tigers. I know that their pitching is something that has to be worked on, but if they can go out and sign a big pitcher on the market right now or trade for a pitcher, then maybe bringing up some of those prospects on the offensive side could really help boost that team, and who knows what could happen. And AJ Hinch, the last thing I'll say is, if there's one thing he knows how to do very well, it's get the most out of his players.
But who's coming? No one's coming to Detroit. It's like the least popular place to sign in any sport.
Well, maybe with a guy like Hinch as the manager, people know what he's capable of. Maybe that'll draw some attention toward them.
This is a Stevie Y situation. Like, oh yeah, Yzerman is GM. Let's play for Yzerman. You know, like
very possibly. I mean, hey, you never know. It's still 2020. It's, as we said before, it's been a crazy season. Anything could happen.
Yeah, but Stevie Y wasn't in a scandal. Like AJ Hinch was part of the biggest scandal we've had since the steroid era.
Like, look, I'll say that's true, but this is just my opinion. I said I don't think that AJ Hinch is as deep in the water as Alex Cora is for the scandal.
People don't want to be upset about it. I get it, but I don't get how you can't be upset about it when you think about the double standard, right? Pete Rose, who did something that we can do now, right? We can bet on games. He is banned forever for the Hall of Fame. For that. He's banned for that. He didn't take steroids. He didn't cheat. He just bet. Okay? Meanwhile, these two schmucks get a job after a 1-year suspension. That's ridiculous. Every dire baseball fan would say that's a ridiculous double standard. Doesn't make any sense. There's no reason why these two should have a job again, and then there's no reason why that title should not be stripped if Pete Rose is still banned for life. That's ridiculous. That's all I have to say. All right. Should we go to the last signing?
Well, yeah, you can move on, but I still have one more topic I'm gonna mention. I think we'll save it for the end. You can.
Right.
I think that this is though, just to say I think that this may be the most intriguing. And you spelled there you go. And at the same time,
I just realized yes.
You spelled both names wrong.
Yeah, I know.
And I think
their name.
I think this is the most interesting one, and I think this could be the best one of them all, personally.
Wow, breaking news. So I was actually – first let's talk about the signing or would-be signing. What do you think of them getting an experienced managerial candidate in Tony La Russa?
I love it.
And what do you think about that all probably going not to happen like Carlos Beltran because of a DUI scandal, apparently? I need to read this. He was charged with driving under the influence after he – oh, no. Come on, Tony. What are you doing? You're 76 years old. Why don't you just get someone to drive you? God.
All right. I'll tell you this. You asked me what I think of getting a guy like Tony La Russa, potential managerial candidate, or is officially the manager of the White Sox. I like it. I don't remember who their manager was before.
Rick Renteria.
Yeah, thank you. When you said the name, it was going to pop in. I don't think he did a bad job. If anything, I think he took him to the next level. But I feel like
shocked he was fired, honestly.
Yeah, I was a little shocked also. But it looks like the White Sox, with that young core they have, Moncada, Jose Abreu, who's been in the league for a while, but still relatively young, Tim Anderson, James McCann, who's a free agent, I think, but I think they'd be pretty likely to re-sign him. Or if,
I don't know why they'd re-sign him, though. They paid so much for a
Grandal. Yeah, that's true. Maybe they want like more of a defensive. Okay, anyway, but regardless of all that, and don't forget Eloy Jimenez and of course their runner for the Rookie of the Year this past year, Luis Robert. I like what they've done with that team, and they could have made a really big run. They could have had a really nice run this past year. Getting to the playoffs, I think, was the right step. I feel like the White Sox in baseball are kind of like the New York Rangers in hockey. Like, they have very young cores, right, who were, projected to get back on track and start competing for a title again. And similar to the Rangers, they got knocked out early this past year in the postseason. The White Sox did too, kind of like a first year, get your feet wet, right? Get a little bit of experience, make a move, and then build it up for a longer run in the future, maybe even the next year or two. I think that this was a good move. I'm not so crazy about the idea that they fired their old manager, but I do like at least who they brought in. It's a guy who's one of the best managers, in my opinion, in all of baseball. When he was back in the earlier years of the early 2000s to the early 2010s. He won a title in his last year of managing, and it didn't come easy. Like, they battled back. I think that they want to bring him in, his experience and wanting to develop these young players on this White Sox team. I like the move, and I'm interested to see where they can go from here.
So I'd say two things. One, don't you ever compare this dumpster fire to the Rangers, okay? First of all, we didn't fire our coach, okay? When we're going in the right direction, you don't fire your coach. You fire.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about that whole thing. I'm talking about the level of experience with these players in their core.
Number two, they didn't have injury problems in their playoffs, okay? In fact, they played an injury-riddled A's team that still beat them. And number three, I don't see the what?
I think the lack of experience got to them, similar to the way it did to the Rangers.
But one of your most experienced forwards got wrecked by one of your former players who you traded at the trade deadline.
Okay, yeah. Well, let's forget about hockey. Just
wait. One more thing. There is no bright side for losing in the playoffs for the White Sox, except maybe this Tony La Russa signing technically. But now with the DUI, I don't know. It might be a draw. Well, with the Rangers, they got Lafreniere. Okay, that's it. That's all I had to say. Okay, so now I pulled up this here. I pulled up this article, and instead of us predicting, because I think it's gonna be too hard to do, I'm just gonna share this, and we're going to see if we agree or disagree, or if we like it. I think that's just a lot easier. Okay, so we just found out that the Indians are willing to trade their star shortstop Francisco Lindor. So
And rightfully so, because they're not going to be able to pay him. They have a bunch of other players. I'm sure they'll. Yeah, as I once heard from a fan, as I once heard from a well-known sports analyst, when you have a player, right? And it was a different sport, but it's the same idea. When you have a player the caliber of someone like Francisco Lindor, you make the moves necessary to keep him.
he said,
Now, I know the pandemic has a huge impact, negatively in terms of a financial standpoint, but I wouldn't mind if he ended up on another team. Francisco Lindor is one of my favorite players in the MLB, but I think that the Indians are kind of giving it away too easy by indicating they want to trade him this early.
yeah, but you have to understand something. If they don't trade him now, they're never going to trade him. No one's going to take somebody for a deadline piece because they don't know if they
Right.
can sign him, right? Right. And free agency, they don't want to get him for nothing. They don't want to just lose
Right.
him.
That's
So
true. He's
this is
about
the
to
best case scenario both ways because you get significant pieces more than you would in a deadline piece or if you just walked because you get no pieces. And B, that team that gets you at least gets you for a year if they're make it or break it for a thing, right? Because I think two biggest players we were talking about the last 2-3 years about being traded was Francisco Lindor and Mookie Betts. And I thought they were both going to happen at the same time because of the contracts and everything. And one of them did happen. And I actually thought it's very possible the Dodgers are willing to trade all these pieces for 1 year of Mookie Betts so they can win it all. Yeah, we know now that they signed him long term, but they didn't have to. Like he would be enough for the 1 year. They would have won. And they did. We know that. Like he was a big part of that. If he wasn't there, it would have been a lot harder if he wasn't there for them. Like also the one downside is this was like a bad year for Lindor. Like a lot of good players, this was a bad year for them. Like Yelich and Bellinger, like these were not like obviously in the playoffs it's different, but this was a bad year for these players. So the value is going to go down a little bit, plus because pandemic, and pricing and everything. But anyway, let's just look down all these options. Okay, let's see. Okay, so he's entering his final year. He earned 17.6 in recent arbitration. All right, here. Okay, number one, Cincinnati Reds. Let's see. All right, Francisco Lindor for Nick Senzel, Jonathan India, Tyler Mahle, and a player to be named later. So four like I don't know prospects because I don't know these guys. Are these players like that have played a lot for Lindor? Well, I guess this is not the worst thing because you get a key player in each position, right? You get an outfielder, an infielder, a pitcher. So maybe, I guess the last one would be a catcher, I'm guessing, or something. I don't know. But yeah, that helps, I think that helps because you get cost. I'm guessing these are cost-effective people. And what do you think, Josh?
I mean, I like the diversity that they're offering up in this trade. It's not like obviously I don't think that they'd be willing to take, like 2 at one position, 3 at one position, and like 2 or 3 other guys. I like the move. I like the offer. I just don't know. I don't know enough about these other people.
I don't know them either. That's why I don't.
Yeah. Besides for Nick Senzel, I really I don't know enough about.
Maybe if you put like a Moustakas or someone in there,
I don't think they would do that. They just signed Moustakas on a, he only played 1 year of his 4 years, and he's produced. I don't think he's.
Imagine they traded Lindor for Bauer.
That wouldn't happen. Well, Bauer's a free agent, so that's off the market for now.
Oh, that'd be funny. Okay.
Well, they couldn't. So.
All right, don't ruin my fun. All right, Angels. Oh man, that would be so cool, right? Because that would be. I don't know if this other team's on here, but like if the A's are on here, I think I told you about this. If they replace Andrelton Simmons, who's a really good shortstop, or Marcus Semien, who's a really good shortstop, with
He's the
Lindor.
best. I just want to point out, like, Simmons is by far the best defensive shortstop in the game. There's no question.
Right,
Like,
but like overall, it's Lindor.
yes, overall, Lindor is, the better player, but
Like
still.
Simeon just had a better year this year, but like it's Lindor. So I'm saying like if you replace like that's crazy. But like I'm saying like look at this offer. So let's see. They would offer their top prospect with if top prospect, you're already in a good spot,
Right.
and a high ceiling middle infielder. So again, they're covering their thing by getting another infielder. So maybe they could
They could
shift.
let.
Shift.
Yeah.
And yeah, right. That's a good point, right? Because you can get rid of your top prospect because you have Joe Adele, who I've heard a lot of good things about. So yeah, I think that would be insane. By the way, I think that would be a power move. I think the Angels would finally make the playoffs with this kind of move. Like, I really do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get behind. I'm gonna have to disagree with you. I don't think the Angels are really in need of that much more offense. I think they have the guys who can produce. They have David Fletcher. They just signed Anthony Rendon to a big contract, Mike Trout to a massive contract a year ago. They still have guys
never have too many
like
bats.
Dustin Upton, right, and Adele, who's just come up and got his feet wet. He could be a great player to come down the road. But the problem is, well, you notice those are all offensive pieces. What pitching do they have, aside for maybe Shohei Ohtani when healthy? They have none.
Yeah,
Dylan Bundy had a nice season for them, but he's by no means an ace.
Right.
So I don't think this team if the Angels make a trade for Francisco Lindor, it'll be like the Phillies of 2019. They made all those moves. They signed Bryce Harper. You got Andrew McCutchen. You signed JT Realmuto. Where was the pitching? You didn't have it, and they fell short. I don't think the same.
I guess the only way to fix the problem is for the Phillies or the Angels to get some pitchers.
Exactly.
Honestly,
well, I mean, the Phillies could very well be losing out on Realmuto this year, though. So we'll see.
I mean, they're not gonna let him just walk. They're gonna try.
They're only making an offer, but that's not the topic for now. Let's move on.
Okay.
Next team.
What?
I'm gonna just give you my quick thought. I think the only way the Yankees make a move for him is if they let LeMahieu walk, and I don't think they want to do that.
Well, I think they could actually do it without giving up LeMahieu. I think they could trade Voit and someone. I forgot who else.
That's possible also, but I don't think that. I think the most likely way that they give them up, that they get him is by not letting by not going after LeMahieu this offseason.
I don't know.
I'm not saying it's the only way, but I think that's the most likely way.
I think they could do it. LeMahieu's very happy in New York. I think.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's not going to take the exact same deal, but I don't think he's going to ask for the big numbers, especially in a pandemic. That's just me. Whatever.
Right.
Oh, man. No way. Well, I guess stealing your line, right? If they don't keep Realmuto, then yeah, why not, right?
Exactly.
Because, Didi's not going to stay. He was only there for 1 year to prove himself, and they don't need to pay Realmuto. So, yeah, why not, right? I don't know who they trade for him. Said they throw Bryson Scott and Francisco. I don't even know what that is. All right, screw it. And then your team. All right.
My team.
Yeah. We all know. You give up one of your shortstops, right? We know.
All right. I'm just gonna make a point out here. I do think that if the Mets were gonna do it, and they had to trade a shortstop, they probably would not want to give up Andres Jimenez. They'd probably want to keep him and give up Rosario, who has a bit more experience and still a decent amount of upside to him.
Yeah, that's a garbage deal. Everyone.
Yeah, but I do think, but at the same time, I think they don't. No, that's not like the only thing. I'm sure that they'd want prospects.
Well, I don't. Oh, hold on. Throwing big.
There's a lot of talk about maybe Conforto or Dominic Smith being offered in that trade.
Yeah, but it's not on here. So I'm going what's based on here. Throwing right-hander Matthew Allen. I don't know what that is. What do you?
Yeah. Well, the other thing is. The other thing, though, is I don't think the Mets will really try to make a push for Lindor unless they think after this year they can re-sign him to a long-term deal. That's what I think.
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? Isn't that the big question that everyone's asking? Oh, yeah, we want to trade for Lindor, but, why should we if we can't if we
Well,
can't.
because here's my logic. If the Mets do end up going after one of those big free agents in Real Muto, Springer, Trevor Bauer, those are all guys. We know Bauer's only looking for 1 year deals. So if you take him out, fine. But Springer and Real Muto are both going to be looking for anywhere from, I think, a 5 to 6, maybe even 7 year deal, right? And the Mets are in better position than most teams, if not the best position, to sign a guy long term right now because Cohen didn't take as much of an effect off the pandemic financially as almost all the others, if not all the owners in baseball. At the same time, he's the richest owner, and I think that he could definitely outbid anyone. But the problem I have here is that the thing I'm saying though is that I don't think that if they can't, I think that if the Mets don't think they can get Lindor long term after this year, they won't go for him because if they're going to try to go
That's
after
the
someone,
point. That's the point.
if they
Like,
don't, if they don't think they could go after him long term, then they might as well just go after those big free agents that are on the market right now instead. That's what I think.
yeah. Okay, so should we see if there's any other teams on here?
I think there's one more. I think there were 6. This was like 5 out of 6.
Okay, so
The
oh,
Dodgers. Yeah, I
I
don't
was
think.
thinking about this. I was thinking the Dodgers already don't give a crap that they spent way too much over the luxury tax, and they figure, hell, why not? But then what do you do with Seager? Does that mean you give Seager away, or do you move Seager somewhere else? Because in my eyes, like, who's their second baseman? Do you know?
It would have to be Kike Hernandez at this point.
I'm
I
saying he's
think.
the second baseman, right?
Yes. I
I'm
mean,
saying
he's
that. I think
definitely
one of them I think it's like a Betts Bellinger situation. You just move one over because Seager's so valuable to that team. Like he was a big reason why they won. It was like for me, it was like Bellinger. Sorry, it was Betts. Like obviously Bellinger did stuff, but it was Betts, Seager, Muncy. Like those are the guys that had the big hits all series.
well. Justin Turner also was pretty
Oh
bad.
yeah, true. But I don't want to talk about Turner because he like, at the end of the things, whatever.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah. I don't know. It's definitely not completely lost. I don't think it's very likely to happen that he ends up going to LA. I wouldn't be
oh,
surprised
but
if
they
a big
say
name
here, they
brought
say
in.
here, they
But
say here, Justin Turner is a free agent, so he might leave.
right. No, that I'm saying
But
that
then,
makes
so then they wouldn't have to. Yeah, but then who they trade if Justin Turner leaves?
right. So they're gonna try to. They're saying here that they're gonna try to slide Seager to third base and have Lindor play short.
That would be the best situation. Either that or trade Kike, and then have Seager be your second baseman. You know what I mean? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Okay. All right, that's it. So, shall we move on?
Yeah. Let's move on. Let's.
Okay. So,
Shall we?
yeah. Which here, let me pull it up and we'll talk about which games we'll talk about. I want to save our team for last if that's okay, unless you want to do best for last.
Yeah, that's fine. I think that for those who couldn't tell, we're on to football now, guys. So we're gonna start. I'd like to start personally with I think what was the craziest matchup of the entire season and one of the more shocking games, outcome-wise, which was the Arizona Cardinals playing the
The Dolphins. Yeah.
Miami Dolphins. Yes.
So this was absolutely insane, by the way, because what's it called? Because in your eyes, like in everyone's eyes, we actually think that the Cardinals are legit this year because of all the stuff Cliff Kingsbury's doing and all the stuff, that
The
Kyler
emergence of
Murray.
Kyler Murray
And the
now.
fact that they got DeAndre Hopkins for nothing, like you just figure, hey, this is pretty good. So here, let me just pull up that game. Where is it? Okay. Let me share. No, here it is. Okay. You see? Okay.
Yep.
So I was just like, the craziest part is that like Kyler Murray had a very good game and they still lost. Like I don't get it. And I thought to myself before I was watching this game, I'm like wondering like how could they do this? Like it's not like Fitzmagic was playing, right? It was Tua. So like would you give this credit to Tua or do you think it's just it's like last week, it was like the defense, like the overwhelming amount of defense?
I don't think it was the defense. I mean, the
You really think it was
defense gave up 31 points still. I don't think it was the defense by any means. Last
I
week
don't
against
think
the
it's
Rams,
crazy to give up 31 points to the Cardinals when you have one of the fastest guys in Murray and you have D Hop and a still serviceable Larry Fitzgerald. Like I don't think it's crazy at all that they gave up 31 points.
I don't think it's crazy. I like again for the Dolphins. I think this one was strictly on the offense. I mean, Tua played a great game. You know, threw for 2 touchdowns. Right, the yards 248. That's not like so unbelievable, but I mean,
I know. I'm
it
saying like it
really
was enough. Like it wasn't like crazy, you know.
it was really well spread out. I mean, you see that, Salvin Ahmed, excuse me, like when I say defense, I don't mean in terms of holding. I'm only talking about in terms of holding points because obviously the defense did play a role in scoring as well. But, just with what I'm saying, like the rushing, it seems, was pretty evenly balanced except for Malcolm Perry. You just close the thing and I can't
I
see it.
saw it. Sorry.
But yeah, beside for Malcolm Perry and Adam Shaheen, and then Matt Collins only 1 carry, 11 yards. Patrick Laird 1 carry, 17 yards. Right, like it's pretty seems pretty evenly spread out. The only people really who didn't, if you could scroll up, were really Tua, who had a couple of carries, and then Salvin Ahmed also, and they both put together similar numbers. 35 rushes on 7 yards, 32 rushes on 7 yards. And then if you move down, I mean, like the defense definitely played a huge role in terms of scoring points.
Right. I mean, like look at. I don't know why I didn't say if you get a touchdown, but yeah, look at all the sacks. You know, you got a lot.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
The defense
Yeah.
definitely played.
Yeah.
Defense definitely played a role in terms of scoring points. It just like when you still give up 31 points, I mean, like when you give up 31 points, then scoring, a touchdown or two on defense kind of makes up. If your offense could get you back a couple scores, which they did.
Look at this play. Look at this play in the thing. Do you see that?
Yeah, I saw this.
That was crazy.
The big shock for me was the fact that Zane Gonzalez just came up short on that field goal. Like we saw him knock down from 55 plus earlier this season.
I always, when it comes to Zane Gonzalez, I'm always hold my breath because like this is like the Browns kicker from a year or two ago. Like I don't expect much from guys that play in that pro. Like
I think it's safe to say he's turned his career around from those 1 or 2 gaffes he had.
I would say it's trending upward, but I don't think it's a whole new resurgence. If I'm going to give a resurgence to anybody,
I definitely don't think that. But I do think that he's not the same kicker that he was on the Browns. I think that he's definitely improved himself in his career.
Okay. So can we?
Cardinals' offense was, great as they have been all year long. Really just coming up. Like, this is a game they could have won. By no means do I think Miami should have clearly won this game. And by no means do I think Arizona clearly should have lost this game or that it was the other way around either. Because both teams played like they deserved to win.
I mean, like Christian Kirk had a great game, but like when Fitzgerald and Hopkins don't get touchdowns, you have some question marks there. Like another guy got a touchdown on 1 reception. He had a crazy catch, like 20 yards, touchdown. Like that was it. I never even heard of this guy, Daryl Daniels. Never even heard of him. But like, that's the crazy stuff. Like, I feel like when you like, and on the other end, on Miami, no one like, it wasn't Gesicki or Parker. It was like these other guys. Like I just don't know. Like I've never heard of these people.
Right. And it's guys making small sample sizes work because, I mean, look, Larry Fitzgerald only had 4 catches, but he turned it into 50-plus yards. DeAndre Hopkins had 3 catches, averaging 10 yards still. I know that's a little down for Hopkins. Daryl Daniels, 1 catch, but he had 21 yards, and it was a score, too. Chase Edmonds.
They make the most out of what they get.
Exactly. And that's what I like about it.
That's
Kyler Murray, again, I mean, like, rushing, he led that team.
He always does. He's like a little Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no, he's great. I mean, 11 carries over 100 yards, a touchdown again, 28 yards was his longest run. I mean, he's going to be playing for a while, and he's only starting to get better, and he's already pretty good where he is right now. I think we're going to see the emergence of a superstar.
All right, can we pick another game?
Yeah, I think we should.
So how about okay? Do you want to talk about this one or both?
I think that we should talk about the one on the right between those two.
But, can I just say quickly, did you watch this one, the last play? That was crazy,
Not watch the last play, no.
Oh, you know what? Okay, whatever. All right. Okay. But this game, I was dying of laughter, because it's a win-win for me, right? Because either A, the Steelers lose, or B, now the Giants have a better shot at the playoffs. But whatever, it worked out. Honestly, they could still lose to a team that doesn't affect our playoff hopes. They could lose to the Ravens. That won't affect us. And that would be a legitimate loss that I would hope to happen. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not saying the Steelers team isn't good, but I think they're the most cocky sons of bitches I've ever seen. They literally look at this score. Did you really think this was gonna be the score?
I did not, but I mean,
Dude,
like,
listen, this is
look,
the
what they
biggest
did in
fact.
that fourth quarter, in my opinion, because that's what oh my gosh, what they did in that
Idiotic.
fourth quarter
Idiotic. You
seemed
understand.
effortless.
This
It
team
really seemed
No,
effortless.
seriously. This team, I've never seen a team do this every single week. They play down to their competition every single week. Good or bad, they play down to their competition every single week. It pisses me off. It pisses me off. Like, you could easily go 16-0, but you choose to make it close. Why? Why do you choose to make it close? You're playing against Garrett Gilbert. Who are you? What is this? You let the defense look good. You let the Dallas defense look good. Leighton Vander Esch. Okay? I like Leighton Vander Esch. But he has, like, what are we talking about here? Like, it's weird because Gilbert was like it's crazy because, like, it doesn't seem like it was so bad, right? Because Roethlisberger had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, 300 yards, right? And, actually, the rushing does not look so great. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, no, the Dallas played it.
9 carries for 22 yards. Look at the Dallas rushing versus that's terrible.
Tony Pollard beat Connor alone in that
57. 57. That's amazing. Zeke took way too many carries to get 50 yards. That's actually kind of sad. When someone who's supposed to be worse than you has half the amount of carries as you but still gets more yards. That's a little sad.
Yeah, I want to point something out. I personally think Ezekiel Elliott is one of the most overrated players.
I 100% agree.
I really think
all these people are like, yo, Zeke's
by no means is he not good. He's just way too overrated.
I think the problem is people just don't understand for years he's had the best O-line I've ever seen. Seen. Tyron Smith, Travis Frederick, Zach Martin. Like, I would kill to have an O-line like that.
Yeah.
Like, I always imagine what if Saquon Barkley or Christian McCaffrey had an O-line like that.
They don't like, even with their O-lines they have. I don't know about the Panthers, but the Giants O-line is not that great, and for what they still are able to do, I mean, like, look,
it's amazing. They can
exactly.
They're nothing special, but they can still it's amazing. I don't know. Cowboys fans are weird. Anyway, so but yeah, let's take a look at the defense here because I thought this was interesting, right? There's no sacks, but there were a lot of I felt like there were like a few big ones, but like I don't know. I saw Vander Esch get around Big Ben a lot. I was actually kind of surprised. Like I wasn't seeing you expected someone like Watt or Dupree to get a sack, right? So yeah. Watt and Hayward got half a sack. I never understand what half a sack means, but like
half a sack means that multiple guys bring down a quarterback.
Oh, okay. So it was the same sack then if I see 2 halves?
Yeah, pretty much.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like usually you expect Watt or Dupree to have it by themselves. And I think Cameron Hayward, who's probably one of the most underrated middle linebackers in this league, I don't think people talk about him as much because that defense is stacked with Watt, Dupree, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Like
Fitzpatrick had a really nice play on that.
Just to show what happens when you get away from Adam Gase, Ryan Tannehill, Minkah Fitzpatrick. Like it's gonna be something,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. I think I want to go to another game. Okay. What do you think of? Yeah, you want to do this one, right? This one.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Were you as shocked as I was by this outcome?
I'm not gonna say I'm shocked. I thought that I definitely did think the Seahawks were the team to win this game, but I'm not shocked that they lost this game. I think that.
Well, the score actually doesn't do it justice because it seems like it was closer than it was.
Yeah, but it really wasn't. I mean, it was 17-3 at one point.
Yeah, it was really bad. The first 3 quarters, it was really bad. I was
I mean, it was 24-10 going into the half. You're still down 2 touchdowns. The Seahawks did get closer in the third quarter when they held the Bills. They got back. They got back within 10 points, I think it was at that point.
Also, the defense. I don't know what happened, but the line just kept. Look at you see it on the screen.
Yeah,
we got all over Russell Wilson. It was insane.
They played really well, and I think
the Seahawks defensive line also played really well, but you wouldn't even notice because of how well the Bills defensive line played. It was insane.
Yeah. Now
look at that. Look at that.
Yeah,
Ow.
I see that. What I'll say, I know that I'm almost contradicting myself. What I said, the defense, when I say played really well again, not showing necessarily like they still let up 34 points, and that doesn't change. But they played, and they stepped up when they needed to the most. That's what I think.
I mean, here, like, let's just look at the defense because I don't even care about anything else. Like,
Yeah, I
obviously,
mean, Josh
DK had a
Allen
good
was
game,
amazing
but like,
again.
it was the
That's
defense.
not new.
No, but like, it was the defense. Like, look at this. Look at this. Where's it? By the way, which of these is interception? Do you know? Is it TFL?
I don't think so. That's tackle for a loss, I'm pretty
How about
sure.
PD? Passes defended? Is that what that means?
Don't know, but
Yeah, whatever, fine. But like 5
were
sacks.
there any picks in this game? I don't think there were any picks in this game.
I saw one. I saw one. I saw one. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, so okay,
Whatever.
whatever.
But look at this. 5. Hold on.
Aunt Diana Sellers 80 loved Popeye's
Sorry,
wicked shrimp,
sorry,
and she
sorry,
sang
sorry.
about it.
Sorry. I love that chicken from Popeyes. Okay. 5 sacks. 5 sacks. You know? Like, this is beautiful. That's a beautiful performance. 5 sacks. Did you ever think that someone like as versatile and athletic as Russell Wilson will give up 5 sacks? And that's the crazy part. That was enough. The freaking Seahawks got 7 sacks. Okay?
Yeah, that's crazy. And also against, like you mentioned, Wilson's very, very. He's very mobile. So is
Very
Josh Allen.
mobile. They're both mobile. They're both very mobile.
Yeah,
I just thought somehow that like because now this is going to ruin the whole MVP conversation because for weeks all I've been hearing about is Russell Wilson, right? First I heard Aaron Rodgers, then I heard Russell Wilson most of it. Now I think I'm ready to give it back to Mahomes. I really do. I think I'm ready to give it back to Mahomes. Like especially if if Wilson has another really bad performance, I'm ready to give it to Mahomes because Mahomes has not had one like he lost, but he has not had one bad game yet.
well,
So
sacks don't write out, how bad a performance is. I mean, if he threw for 500 passing yards
well,
and
let's take a look.
5
Here, let's look.
touchdowns, then
No,
obviously he still
no,
threw for 390 yards and 2 touchdowns. It doesn't change the fact that he threw 2 interceptions.
I'm saying he threw 2 interceptions versus Josh Allen, who threw more yards, who had a much better QB rating,
He definitely did. I'm not saying
and he
that.
had a no pick. So, like, he just had a better performance, right? I'm not saying Josh Allen's going to be the MVP, but
Okay, but
you know,
what I'm saying
I just think it hurts him. I just think it hurts. That's all.
I don't think you could look at one game for where they are in the season and say, "Oh my gosh, like now he's definitely not going to win the MVP." I don't think you can do that. Just not where we
Fair
are.
enough.
In the,
Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair
it
enough.
was very close, and it was like week 17, and they were both going to be playing for a playoff spot, right? And Mahomes performs just a little bit better than Wilson, right? Or Wilson performs at this rate, and Mahomes throws 6 touchdowns for like he did. Like if he had a game like he had against the Jets or even against the Panthers this past week, then okay, fine. But we're barely halfway through the season at this point. I
I'm
just
saying right now it hurts him. That's all I'm saying. I didn't say it's a lock. Don't
no, but
Don't at me, bro. Don't at me. Let's just talk about quickly the Chiefs game, just so I can understand a frame of reference. Look at this performance, right? He has more yards, better QB rating than both Allen and Wilson, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying he just had better performances. That's all I was saying.
yeah, it's a week by week thing. You can't.
Also, I don't know about this, but Le'Veon Bell seeming a little bit disappointing signing, 4 carries, 8. I don't know, like maybe he needs more time, but Hilaire was all right, I guess.
Well, the Panthers do have a fairly good rushing defense, so I don't think you could.
Yeah,
Like
you know what
there
the
wasn't
weird part
much better,
was?
really.
The weird part was seeing McCaffrey because now he should have rested, and now he probably is going to be out even longer. I'm imagining, but that might not be true. Okay, and then obviously this receiving core is the best I've ever seen, like all across the board. Hilaire, Robinson, Hardman, Hill, Kelsey. Just look at that. It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Also, really not trying to call you out, but it's kind of bugging me a little because the H in his last name is silent. So,
Fine, Hilaire.
yes, thank you.
Jeez.
Just saying before people.
All right. Okay, grammar police. I got it. Sorry, folks.
Yeah, those can be annoying.
Yes, I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. Okay. Okay, whatever. Let's go to another game. we'll do this one last. Okay, so should we do this one or this one first?
I like the.
I want to do these two and
Here's
draft.
another cleaning tip from Mr. Clean. Clean.
What? Okay, so all right. Were you not shocked by the win, but by the score?
I wasn't shocked about the win. I
No, I'm
was
saying, yeah.
stunned by the deficit. I really was.
They didn't even score a touchdown.
Yeah, they
You have all those
they
weapons.
were nearly
Brown.
shut out.
You
They were
have
nearly
Antonio Brown. Do you think this is because of Antonio Brown? Do you think he just messed up the chemistry and everything, or like?
No, I really don't think, because I don't think, like, how many targets did he get? I don't think he saw that much action in the game. Antonio Brown,
3 receptions,
5 targets.
5 targets.
That's not crazy. That's really not crazy. And he wasn't so useless with the targets he had. I mean, he caught 3. He caught more passes than he had been targeted, and he made. He had a nice average. 10.3 yards a catch.
I mean, Drew Brees, like if you see in the bottom of your screen, like he was fantastic. Oh my god.
Yeah, what I liked about this game the most is how well he spread the ball in this game. Because if you look, like everyone said, oh, Michael Thomas is coming back and Kamara gets like 10 receptions a game. Okay, let's get something straight. Michael Thomas, like, I don't know if you want to scroll down, but I saw he only had 6 targets. And for the targets he had, nice amount of work,
50 yards. Like, that's pretty good. Right.
And it's not like he had any bombs where he had like a 48-yard catch and then he had like, 4 straight catches for like 3 yards. No, he had like all the attempted passes toward him were for anywhere from like, 5 to 15 yards, and he made him work around. I think that, and I think they did a really nice job of adding guys like their tight end, Josh Hill, who's a little bit overshadowed by Jared Cook now being on that team, guys also like Traquan Smith, right? Or like who's the other guy? And scroll down.
Okay, but just quickly, like look at this.
Deontay Harris, he's the other guy.
Yeah, but look at this. Look at all these catches by AB. That's what we get a little highlight reel, but nothing to show for it. Right? No touchdowns. Right. I mean, look at just quickly, just Tom Brady, no touch, 0-3.
I think this was his like third. Oh man, there was some crazy stat. Something like,
without a touchdown.
No, like the third lowest something for his career in a game or something.
Probably like QB yardage.
Like his rating or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like I don't know if I had a guess, but
okay. Okay, let's.
Wait, but before I just have a question. Do you think this is like a sign of decline for Tom Brady? You think this might be the end?
Oh, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
You think it's just a fluke?
I think this really is a fluke. I don't think that. Look, the Saints came into this game with a mentality saying,
look, they spread the ball. Like Emmanuel Sanders got a touchdown.
Brady spread the ball also. He didn't really overshoot anyone completely. Like he had Godwin had 6 targets. He saw Evans had 6 targets. Brown had 5 targets. He didn't really overshoot anyone. Leonard Fournette also had 6 targets. He didn't really Gronk had 6 targets. Those are like all the names you see that are like, the prime receivers.
Yeah, but
you didn't see anyone completely like overshadowed. I just think the Saints, I feel like the Bucs might have come into this game a little bit ahead of themselves.
They must have pulled the Steelers and like played down to their competition.
No, I don't think that's what happened. I think that the Bucs got ahead of themselves, not because they wanted to play down to their competition. I thought that they thought that it was going to be an automatic win for the momentum they had.
That's what I
think it is. It's not necessarily playing down to your competition.
Fine, they were cocky. They were cocky.
Competitive in that sense. Like I think they just and the Saints came in with a mindset saying, "Look, if we win this game, that puts us in prime position for this division because we've swept the Bucs and they're the biggest competition that the Saints have in that division right now. As long as the Saints put a better record, like even if they tie the Bucs for having the same record, the Saints are going to be in because they have the tiebreaker between those two teams."
No, right? I don't know what you mean by that because the first game of the season they played the Saints and they got smoked. It wasn't like this.
They lost by like 9. That's not getting smoked.
No, it was not. I'm looking at it right now. It's like 15. It's 15.
It's not. It can't be. It was what, like 30, like 30.
I'm looking at the wrong score. It's 11.
24-23, something like that.
Yeah, 11.
Okay, so that's not getting smoked. Like they lost by a touchdown and a field goal.
They lost. Like
Look, it was also week one. Like, everyone's shaky. They had new players, completely new system, new coach. Like, you really can't say that.
Well, now they've had their experience. They got Leonard Fournette. They got Antonio Brown. So what's
no question. They didn't deserve to win this game. But
no, of course not. Like,
well, I think, let me ask you something. I know that we still have a lot of time to go. We still have 6 weeks left. But do you think that this Bucs team could not end up making the playoffs now? Because all the talk about, they started 6-2.
They probably will, but I don't think they're getting the division at all. I don't think so.
I don't think we'll see. A lot can
happen. They have to like only if the Saints lose out, right, against teams in their division, right? Because then they have tiebreakers, right? So if the Saints lose to the Panthers, the Saints lose to the Falcons, that's never
going to matter. First of all, it's going to matter by head to head. If they have the same record, right? The Saints
but they don't. They have to, they don't.
It goes by that team first. Here's what I'm telling you. This is what happens, Joey. I just looked it up the other day because I was curious to find out if it goes by division record first versus.
Okay, no, obviously it goes head to head, but I'm saying if they have the same record, then it will be division.
No, if they're at the same record, the Saints get it, even if they have a worse record than the Bucs.
Because they beat them both times.
Because they beat them both times, exactly.
Okay. All right. 2 more games. All right. I don't want to talk too much about this one. But you thought they were gonna win, right?
No, I really didn't.
No, you were you text me. I was like, the Jets are winning. I'm like, and what did I say? I said they're the Jets.
And that's what I was thinking. Also, I'm not saying. Look, I wasn't. Okay, I'm gonna be real with you. I wasn't texting you that because I thought they were gonna win. I was texting you that because, oh my God,
Yeah, but they had a lead against the Bills, who were a very good team this year. I don't know if anyone remembers this.
Not late in the game. Not that late in the game. They didn't though. I'm saying I texted you because look how late it was. Like the fourth quarter when I did that.
Yeah, but Bill Belichick's the king of the fourth quarter.
Yeah, no, I didn't think they were going to win the game. I think they were only down by 3 at that. I think they were only up 3 at that point, but still.
I mean, it's crazy how Cam Newton had no touchdowns. Wait, is that right? He had no touchdowns.
2 rushing touchdowns. He didn't pass for any.
I know, that's crazy though. Isn't that crazy? He didn't throw for any touchdowns.
Yeah.
I think what cost them. I think what caught obviously this was a big rushing game. This was a game of running backs because I remember Flacco was doing all right, but he cost them he had a big throw. I remember a big interception. So isn't that what sealed the game? Yeah, that was really bad. And what's the name kicked a game winner, and I was just this is just classic,
He did it to his former team also.
Yeah, that's funny, by the way, because everyone's like, "Oh, Nick Folk, what are you?" And they got rid of him, and now he's on the Patriots. That's pretty funny. Yeah, but we've known for a while they've had a solid running thing. Rex Burkhead, James White. I don't know where Sony Michel is.
Things are really uncertain in the world right now.
I can't pause it.
Looked at.
No, it wasn't a mute.
Very nice performance was definitely Jacoby Myers on the wide receiving end. He had 12 targets for over 160 yards.
That's crazy.
12 catches. And to think he didn't score a touchdown.
That's crazy, right?
Yes.
Because Perriman had way less yards, but he had 2. So that's what sticks out to me.
Yeah, and Perriman, way less yards, didn't have a bad game. He still broke 100. It's just that Myers.
I feel Perriman or Crowder, those are their best offensive players.
I mean, Myers
best players,
more yards alone than Perriman and the Jets' second receiver, the receiver who had the second most yards, Mims. He had more, one player alone.
At 163. And he
had more catches. He had more catches than
He had more catches than their 2 highest receivers.
Than their 3 highest receivers. He had more catches than their 3 highest receivers. That only.
No, but he had more yards than the two highest.
Yeah,
combined.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
They made him a workhorse in that game.
Yeah.
Paid off the final drive. He had the big catch that set them up in field goal range for Nick Folk.
Yeah, it was not a defensive game at all. 1 sack from both teams, this was a purely rushing game, obviously Myers and Perriman did great, but it was a rushing game. It was just a dog. This was a dog fight. This was ugly,
And Cam Newton for only 16 yards made his rushes count. He had 2 touchdowns. Still.
Listen, you gotta love that about Cam Newton. The dude's not old. Like Flacco's a bit old for me. Like Newton still can run. He's still very mobile. I like. All right, last game. It's the game I love to watch. It's our New York Giants versus the Washington Redskins. All right, before we get into the actual game, well, this is part of the game, but do you think this is weird? Okay, the Kyle Allen injury. Do you think, like, are we goons? Are we dirty? Because people are like, oh, you injured Dak. Now you injured Kyle Allen.
I don't think so.
Speaking of that,
Think so.
the Giants guy injured the Washington quarterback, and the guy that came in relief for him was a guy that was
Kyle Allen.
guy that was a quarterback that at Washington that was injured by the Giants on the anniversary of when a Washington quarterback got injured by a Giants player, right? Kyle Allen, Alex Smith, Joe Theismann.
Your active customer
All
care's
been
LG
injured.
brand new
Weird.
appliance
People think what they want to think.
like having your very own.
I think there would have been a lot more. I think it would have been a lot more clear had something like actually really stupid.
No, but honestly, he got pushed. Oh, by the way, you see this play? I got so mad about this play because this play is like, oh, this is the NFC East, NFC East in a nutshell. Like it was so weird. It was weird, man. That was weird. But I gotta say, like, a part of me was like, oh man, Alex Smith, is this the comeback? Since we broke his leg, and it was not. Like
He was making some nice. Look, he was making.
until he threw the picks, he was looking good. He was looking good until he threw the pick. He gave us all these picks. I don't even know if they were good throws. I'm trying to think. Like, they're probably not, right? Like. But, like, honestly, again, like, I'm so – people – hold on. All people do is crap on Gettleman, but he had probably one of the most underrated off seasons in his signings, right? He got Logan Ryan, Blake Martinez, James Bradbury, and obviously he traded for Peppers, right, in the OBJ deal. Probably, like those were, like, the standouts to the game because Daniel Jones was fine. He didn't fumble for the first time in this game.
This was definitely one of the better games he played on the year. There's no question about it.
It wasn't a bad game.
The one problem I have is that the guy still doesn't throw the ball away when it matters.
Well, maybe he'll learn, Maybe he'll learn.
Look, he's young. He has time. But the fact of the matter is that the Giants could have won way more than 2 games. They could be 4-3 right now. Not 4-3, sorry. They could be 5-3 right now.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. Obviously that's true, but they still have more games to possibly win. I think they could easily beat the Cowboys. And I think they could beat the Eagles, maybe. I think they have a shot.
If they 2 games right there, 2 games, they could have been 4-5 right there.
No, I'm not even talking about those games. I'm talking about, but I'm saying based on those, I think they could win the second of those 2 games, both of them. I think they can beat them again, and then it won't matter, right? If they beat Philly and Cowboys, it's it. They don't have to worry anymore. Okay, they don't.
I mean, they still have to rely on those other teams to lose, though.
Also, only if they don't win other games. But if not, it's like a split, right?
Right.
But they have the better record because they beat Washington twice, right? So
but it also depends on what happens because I think the Eagles still have another game against Washington. They could win.
Right. So it depends. It depends on if Washington. Imagine Washington beats Philly. If Washington beats Philly and Dallas, and we beat Philly and Dallas. And since we beat Washington twice, we'd have a better record, right?
Yeah, but that's only for the division, though. You're not taking into account all the other games.
We have other games we could win. We have the Bengals, right?
Right.
I think we can win that. We have maybe the Browns, and we have the Ravens, which we're not going to win. But, like, that's the only one I'm not confident about. I think the other games, though, we could win, in my opinion. Okay, but, like, yeah, just what I'm saying, like, it was a solid game. Ingram had a great catch in the end zone, Great.
Let me ask you. So, do you think at this point that this is kind of like a team that could go 6-10, 7-9, and somehow win?
I think we're gonna have it's gonna be really sad, but we're gonna have a 6-10 playoff team. I don't know who. I hope it's us, but I think that's where we're going. Like, they're not gonna win
the NFC East. You're saying?
Yeah, whoever wins that, it's gonna be ugly. Like,
okay.
I don't care though if it's us. I don't care. Playoff berth's a playoff berth, right? Like,
yeah, it is.
They do this for any other division.
Talk about it when they went 9-7 in 2011, 2012, and said, "Oh, they went 9-7. Just watch. They barely snuck in." And you know what? They won the Super Bowl.
That's a little different because that's over 500.
Doesn't matter though. They were the worst of all the teams that made it in record.
That's true. And then they won the whole thing. They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
and on top of that, the wild card teams both the Lions and the Falcons had better records than them that year. They were both 10-6, and they both didn't win their division. And we all know what happened after. So anyway, but moving on.
But like it was great across the board. Solid receiving, Great rushing by Gallman and everybody. But yeah, I think this game had to go to the defense because, oh my God, Blake Martinez again, beautiful. I don't know why it's not on here, but like the didn't he force a fumble again?
I
Right.
don't remember.
I think he forced another fumble. Ryan, I thought had a pick. I could have sworn. Oh, it's not on here. I don't know where picks are. But
Picks
yeah,
are only shown by how many the quarterbacks threw. They don't
yeah,
show who
that's
has what.
stupid. Okay, whatever. But yeah, Ryan had a pick. Peppers had a pick, and who was the third person? No, yeah, I think Blake Martinez had a pick. Leonard Williams had a sack. I remember that. By the way, what do you think about that? Leonard Williams, is that trade starting to work out? Is that trade looking good?
I think it is. I mean, look, they've got time.
Like, it's weird because Jones got sacked 5 times, right? And they still won. Like, we only get 2 sacks. So, that's all you need. All you need right there. It was amazing. I was like, it wasn't the best win, but it was a good win.
Yeah. But I do want to point out a good performance by Terry McLaurin again. I mean, the guy has shown nothing but consistency all year long.
I mean, yeah, he's our, like, I don't know if you watch Gridiron Heights, but like, I'll show you another time. But like, basically, like, they show like him carrying Allen, like holding him. Like, I've been doing this all year, right? So yeah. Okay, so I think we're done with football.
Yeah.
And okay, last topic, and then I gotta go in like 10, 15 minutes. Okay, so this might not come off as hockey news, but this is like kind of like a nice way of tribute to one of the guys that had a little role in hockey this past year. We lost one of the biggest legends in entertainment industry, Mr. Alex Trebek. He passed away. Passed away 2 days ago from cancer. It happened. We knew this for a while, but we didn't know when it was going to happen, So, I mean, like, what do you think? Like, you watch Jeopardy, Josh, right? Like, what do you think?
Every here and there, like not as much recently, but
yeah, but he always brought something to the table, right? Like, he always just made it entertaining and stuff, right?
Yep.
Like, he's one of the most legendary, like, game show hosts of all time. Probably the most legendary.
Yep.
Like, and the reason I'm bringing this up in the hockey section is because the last time we saw Alex Trebek, he announced the pick, right? I don't know if I'm allowed to play it. I'm probably not, but maybe just for a second.
Jeopardy, Alex Trebek.
I'm just like,
Thank you, Johnny. Hi, everyone.
I'm not gonna play the whole thing, but like, you remember this clip, right?
Yeah.
So like, I thought this was so genius because the guy's from Ottawa and everything. So I just thought it was like, in a sweet way, this was like kind of like a nice tribute to him. Like, even though he wasn't dead yet, like, this is a nice way to honor him,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I have to say about that. But I thought this was really cool. That's how they introduced the player, Thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, and all right, so now we're going to do what you want, Josh. So you want us to –
Well, I think I kind of want to bring it out here, but
yeah, go ahead.
yeah, guys. So we're gonna do something a bit unique, something that we've kind of touched around in specific areas before, but we didn't exactly do this yet. And we did go over, what moves teams made in the NHL, who we think could end up on top. But to narrow it down even farther, we're going to be ranking the order from, I don't know how you want to do it, least to greatest, worst to greatest or greatest to worst. I think we should go from
just
first.
Yeah, because we can't do numbers. It's gonna be too hard. We'll just do like we'll just do bad, like good.
Okay, fine, yeah. But anyway,
bad, okay, great, or
in a
something.
nutshell, we're going to be ranking every team's off season, and nothing more than that. Not going over what that team, could look like now, because we've done that already.
We're not doing future. We're just doing right now. What do we
Just
think?
right now, only acquisitions, only the draft picks. Like that's what we're going with.
Just draft picks and what?
Draft picks, trades, free agent signings.
Okay. So just
No
normal
other team.
offseason stuff, nothing else. Okay.
Yeah.
So first is the Anaheim Ducks. Okay. So the big moves were signing Kevin Shattenkirk
Yep.
and drafting Jamie Drysdale.
Yep.
I would put this in the okay pile.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you-
We're going with I think we're gonna go with 4 topics. We'll say absolutely, like elite, not elite. We could say great, right? Good, okay, and just like nothing almost. Like
Bad. So great.
bad.
Bad. Okay. Good. Great. Well, that
Yeah.
still is okay to me because you have a lot more issues to attend with.
Yeah.
Okay. So now Coyotes. Let's see. You lost Hall. You lost Richardson. I think you lost Soderberg too, right? Wasn't he on this team?
He was.
And you lost your first round pick because of a scandal. So I think this is the first easy slam dunk. This is clearly a bad offseason for them.
Yep, for sure.
Not even close. Okay.
And again, guys, like just because we're saying the offseason was bad, don't let us
Yeah, you might have a good.
don't let us
Yeah,
make
but
you
you're not.
think that we think the team will do bad. It's strictly just what happened with their offseason. They
Just the
traded
offseason moves.
just what happened this offseason. Doesn't mean anything about the team being bad or great or okay, mediocre, whatever you want to think. Just the offseason.
Okay, so yeah, hold on a second. I'm just gonna pull up the draft just so I have I don't remember every single pick, especially the later ones. So just hold on. I want to pull that up for myself just so I remember. Okay. So Boston.
We get rid of this ad on the bottom.
What, you don't like fuzzy headphones?
Funny.
Yeah. Anyway, so you got Craig Smith, which is good depth.
Yep.
And you lost Torrey Krug. And you drafted. Where's the Boston pick? Oh, you don't even have your pick. Ooh, you don't even have your pick. Your pick was the second pick that Anaheim got, right?
Yep.
And that was from the trade that you got Andre Kasha for David Backes. Ooh, I don't want to be mean. I want to put this in the bad category, but I don't know. Like, is this okay or is this bad?
I'll say it's okay, but that's
Craig
only
Smith,
because they did.
like, you lost your first round pick, which in a very deep draft. You lost Torrey Krug, but you got Craig Smith. So is Craig Smith like not balanced, but
I mean, I don't think he's a difference maker, but he definitely helps their situation without Pasternak being there for the first
right.
couple.
That's what I'm saying. So I'll put it okay, but it's
It's
okay.
borderline. They're
It's
like at
borderline.
the bottom of the okay list. Like that's what I would say.
They'd be like the worst okay team.
Yeah, exactly.
So far. Okay, so this one, we talked about the future. I'm pretty sure I said the future was different. I'm going to imagine that my future prediction is different than this prediction because I think my future one was a lot more negative just based on what we know in the past. But if we're going based by the offseason, I have to put this in a hold on. So hold on. You got Taylor Hall. You got Eric Stahl. You got not Jeff Skinner. You got
Cody Eakin.
You got Cody Eakin. And that's it, but still very, very good. I think I'd put that in the – I don't know. Now I'm stuck on whether this is good or great category.
I think you could put this in great. I don't think like similar to the Bruins case, I don't think you could put this at the top.
Maybe they're like the best of the worst of the great. The worst of the great, probably.
The worst of the great or the best of the good, whichever one
exactly,
you'd rather.
Exactly. Okay. Calgary Flames. Okay, so this one's gonna be interesting. Okay, so you got where is he? Oh yeah, you didn't change anything. You didn't change anything in your offense, which is not bad at all. It's not bad at all. You didn't lose anyone. That's good. You lost TJ Brody, but you replaced him with Chris Tanev, who he's not TJ Brody, but he's still pretty good. And where is he? And you got Markstrom.
I think this has to be a good.
This is definitely a good. I don't
Really,
know if it's great.
I can't put this
I don't know
in
if it's great, but it's definitely a good. definitely good. You replacing the production of Brody with Tanev and getting Markstrom? You kidding me?
It's definitely a good.
Definitely good. I don't know if it's great. That's the problem, but definitely good. Okay. Wait. Also, let me just. Also, just when you, I think a reason I put in good is because of their draft. I don't know if you remember, they had the 19th pick
We traded
and
it.
the right for 2 picks in the Rangers. Granted, they were third-round picks, but like that's just smart, like it's a win-win for both teams. And then they did it again with the Capitals, right?
Yeah. And they got both.
And they still got the guy they wanted, right? Because they got
Yeah.
a center and they got Connor Zary, right? They didn't want LaPierre because maybe they didn't want him because of the injury, right? Because otherwise they would have taken him at that spot. I'm
Yep.
assuming. But yeah, like they had smart moves, for both teams. But yeah, like that was, yeah. Okay. Carolina, I feel like, all right, so this one's gonna be a hot take, but they didn't do anything. I mean, they got Jesper Fast, who's great.
Yes, they did.
He's great. I'm really sad about that. But I don't think they addressed anything else. Like, granted, their defense is still pretty good, but they lost depth in
I think they made a move.
Vatanen. They
Like,
lost depth in Vatanen and Edmondson,
I think they made a move with their goalies. I don't remember what it was. Maybe they re-signed
Let's see.
someone.
Nope, same people.
I think they re-signed Reimer. That's what I think. I think he was maybe. I could be very wrong.
No,
about
it's
that.
always been Mrazek and Ryan.
No, I'm saying I think Reimer might have been a free agent. They signed him to like a 1 or 2 year.
Well, I guess, all right, fine. Well, then there's going to be a team very soon that I'll talk about. That will be very good. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, fine. I guess I'll put this in good. I don't think this is great.
I have no idea if they did. Like, don't let that in.
All right, then this is okay or good. I don't know. This is not
You
great.
could say okay. I mean, like Jesper Foss is a very good depth piece on
Yeah,
that
but that's
team.
it. That's all.
That like pride themselves with depth. So
Wait, and they drafted Seth. I think Seth Jarvis from the pick they got from Toronto. So yeah, I'll say good. I guess. I don't know.
and just to emphasize something, it was a very, very deep draft. So
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying because I'm saying that's why I'm okay with good. Not great. I'm okay with good because it got it's a deep draft, very deep draft.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Chicago. So let me get this straight. You traded Brandon Saad. Who did they get for Brandon Saad again? Do you remember?
I don't remember until you.
Hold on. I gotta look this up.
Yeah, I mean, if you scroll down, I'm sure it'll be there.
Yeah, but I have to only if I remember the player, but I don't remember the player. So hold on.
Well, if he's
Nikita Zadorov.
Oh, right, Zadorov, yes.
And Anton. So I like Zadorov, and I think he's younger than
I'm gonna
Saad.
scroll down.
Yeah, sorry. He's a yeah. So now you help your defense who's had problems for a while. Like obviously, you've had Boquist, who's very exciting, but you haven't had anyone else step out right there because Keith and Seabrook are a bit old. But now you get Zadorov for Saad, who was kind of getting old himself, right?
Zadorov is getting he's still fairly young.
Like he has a lot of upside. This guy.
Yeah.
Like that's a good move.
Body who could.
That's a good move, and you sign. So this is what bothers me. You keep Malcolm Subban as your starter in one of the best goalie free agencies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
But hold on, but you do draft Lucas Reichel in the deep draft. So I don't know. I'll put this in the good category.
I'll put it in the good. I like the
because
addition.
while you got Subban over anybody else, which is ridiculous, you got a good deep draft pick.
Right.
A good one.
I like Boquist. I like the addition of Zadorov.
Yeah.
And also Lucas Wallmark, a very interesting acquisition, I think. Also, he's a great speedster who can just go force havoc anywhere, and he plays the game hard. He's a good fourth line piece.
Okay, so now, all right, Colorado. This is gonna be all right. So Colorado, what did you do? You got a very experienced dude in Brandon Saad, who, while he is old, you worry about
under his belt. He's played
he played 3 championships. You worry about old when it comes to multiple years. This seems like the type of guy that will be here for a year or two. He's like the depth, he's like the experienced veteran you trade for in your final run for a cup, So like getting Saad.
This isn't really a final run for the cup. This is kind of like just the start of it for the Avalanche.
Yeah. Also, you get
Brandon Devontae's was a good
also you
move.
trade for Devontae's. You fleece the Islanders because they're in the worst cap situation. Them and the Lightning. Like, so that's right.
They also had oh man, who did they
Uh,
draft? If
I
they
was about to say, hold on. I just want to see, and then yeah. Okay, and then you get more depth prospects with your defense. You get Justin Barron.
right.
So I think this is this is the first great one, I'm willing to say.
I mean, that's if we're not putting the Sabres up there. I think we've established the Sabres did have a great.
Yeah, but that's if we didn't specify. I think this
Okay, fine. So Sabres are lingering between good and great.
they're borderline. So this is 100% great. Okay. So Columbus,
Avalanche first in the
yeah,
officially.
yeah, for sure, without a doubt. I'm saying uncontested, great offseason. Okay.
I think we're about to see another one here too.
Yeah. So they got the this is great. They got rid of Josh Anderson, right? And they got Max Domi. And they got Mikko Koivu, right? Right? I you can't argue with that.
Yep.
And hold on. And I'm pretty sure one of their two guys was a restricted, right? Like something like that. Like they got those back. I'm trying to remember who it was, but I think one of them was.
Between Korpisalo and Leakin?
Maybe one of them. I could be wrong. And then they draft not gonna lie, their draft pick was a little head scratcher. I did not see them ranked in the prospects as high. Like I'm literally looking at the top 10 skaters in each. I don't see his name at all. So it's a little bit of a reach for me. Them and like the they had one of the most, them and the Devils had one of the weirdest draft picks in the first round. So like,
okay, well, either way, I'm going to go ahead and put them in the good category. Koivu's a good piece.
no, I'm going to put them in good, like bottom of the good, just because.
Okay.
The draft's a huge part. No, it doesn't matter though. They're still good. No problem. They're not okay. They're good. Getting Koivu, Federer, getting Domi, who's electric.
Yep.
Big fan. Okay. So this one. So you mentioned something earlier about re-signing goalies, right? I think it's a huge win that they re-signed Khudobin, right?
Re-signing Khudobin. They also gave away. I think Janmark was. I don't remember if he was traded or if he was a free agent who was just signed by the Blackhawks. But look, I mean, they like. I'm only going to throw this one out there. Also, acquiring Mark Pysyk was a good move.
Right.
I do like. Obviously, it was huge that they re-signed Anton Khudobin, but at the same time, I think this is a huge thing, and I would tie it to the offseason, even though you did see a little bit of production this year, but we didn't really know what he could be, and that's Yoel
Kiviranta, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, sure, he played partially last season, only brought him up in the playoffs, but let me tell you, that guy was bound to only come up for the start of this year, and he's proven. I think that he's established himself as one of the potential.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to count that
because I don't know you wouldn't count it, but I mean, like for what was originally supposed to happen, they were battling injuries and they had to bring him up.
Also they drafted Maverick Bork, who wasn't supposed to fall so late in the draft. He's a good center prospect. So
yeah.
I was willing to put this in. Like this is the question, right? Like I don't know if it's fair to put Gurianov and Kiviranta because that's last year, technically that's last season.
Right.
Because if it's last season, I'll say great, right? But I think I'm leaning towards.
Well, Gurianov played a full season though. That's the difference. Kiviranta came up for the playoffs. That was it.
But that's still this season though.
Right. Okay. Fine. We'll
put him in good. I'll put him in good. They're very close. Yeah, high upside on great. All right. So this is the one that's gonna. Okay. So. Some of these will be great, but not because of the team, just because of the offseason, right? So I think this might be it. Let's see. Let's analyze this, okay? You re-sign your RFAs in Mantha, Bertuzzi, right? Fabry. I'm pretty sure they were all whatever. You sign Nemesnikov, Bobby Ryan, Troy Stetcher, and John Merrill, and you trade for Mark Stahl. And you get a solid goaltender in Thomas Greiss.
You
Is that what
drafted
you think?
Lucas Raymond also.
And you drafted Lucas Raymond,
This
who
is definitely a
who
great. There's no
who is
question.
this is I'm saying this is a great. This is
There's
one
no
of
question.
like Stevie Y. You did like
And
I
Stevie Y is your GM now on top of that.
I
Like,
think I think I think the best GM is either Stevie Y or Joe Sakic. I really do. I think it's one of the like they just know how to like find these little like gems. Like I think I don't think I'm not saying they're going to the playoffs. I don't even know what I said last time, but I think they're going to be so much better than last year. They're not going to be the worst team. They're not. It's not happening. They had a great offseason. There's no way. This is like low risk, high reward kind of stuff. Like this was fantastic offseason. If we're going by offseason, 100%. Okay. Oilers.
interesting offseason for
This
them.
this one, I think I'm gonna put okay because I'm not yet though. It's not a final verdict, but think about it. Okay, you lose, not you. Sorry, not you lose. You gain. Sorry, no. First you lose. You lose Athanasiou. You don't resign Athanasiou, who you traded for, right? I think that's a big negative. Okay, you do, however, sign Tyson Berry to a very good deal, 1-year deal.
Yep.
Right? And then what's their goaltender? Okay. Okay. Koskinen and Smith. Okay. And then you drafted, let me see. And then you drafted Dylan Holloway. I don't know what to do. I could put this in good, but I feel like it's okay because of Athanasiou.
Yeah, I think we have to put. I think Athanasiou might be too much of a loss.
It was
for
a
them.
big thing. Like you traded a lot for him. Like you expected him to
Only get 1 year out of him in the end. Like I can't see this going past good. I mean, like not even forget about it. I
I
wouldn't
think
even.
it's okay. I think it's okay. You got Barry on a good deal. You got a good draft pick.
Yeah.
But
Look,
like
they definitely need more defense than they need offense. But they have prospects who could be ready to come up also.
yeah,
don't-
you should have
that's
had
what
Athanasiou. Like he's electric. Like
Yeah,
that bothers me.
we can't really put them in anything past okay. in my
All right, this one I don't know either. I think this one might be. This is either okay or bad. I'm not sure. Like you get Hornqvist, right? Which I like.
Right,
You get
you lost out on Evgeny.
Yeah,
Malkin.
but you lost Trocheck because of the trade, right?
Well, that was way before, bro. That was last
All
year.
right, fine. I won't count that. You get Alex Wenberg. I actually do like that.
That's a nice move. You get
I like
Carter Verhaeghe.
Yeah,
Vinny Hinojosa.
yeah. Okay.
And Red Kogutas also. I think they had a good offseason.
All right, I'll put. Can I put an okay? I really don't think it's anything special. I don't know. Like
I mean, look, they
they
built
didn't
up,
address the defense at all, right?
they built up
didn't
okay, but they didn't really need to address it. Oh, they also added Marcus Nudavara. Sorry. Like I think that's a good off.
All right. Okay, fine. I'll put it in.
I think that's a good offseason.
That's the first one. I'm not so sure. I think it's okay, but whatever. Okay, LA Kings. All right, this one. Actually, hold on. Before I get to the Kings, hold on. Okay, you know what? They got Lindell. I'll put it in good. Lindell, deep draft. He's one of the best ranked centers in the thing. You know.
Thank you.
So I'll put. He was like top 3 European skater. So yeah, I'll definitely agree now. I had to think about everything. Okay. Los Angeles Kings. You get wait. Has IFL always been there? I always forget.
I've always known. I follow it.
No. But you do get Quinton Byfield.
Yes. Second overall pick. Lot of
What I want. Okay, and then you get Anderson. Is that good or bad?
Well, I wouldn't say. Look, like for what he's done, yes, you would say bad. But the guy's super young. He was the 7th overall pick. Who knows? Maybe it was just the Rangers.
I just don't know. That's what I'm saying. How about this? I'll say what I said last time, right? If he hits,
then it looks like a huge win. That's a third line center who could.
Right, exactly. If he hits, this is like great, right? This is great.
Yeah.
You got Olimata. You got Olimata also. Yeah. John Walker.
I'm gonna have to put them in okay for now. Like we really don't know what it'll be.
I think because of Anderson, you drop down to like from good to okay. I think that's the problem because you don't know.
Right. And look, they could shoot up to good if Anderson.
Yeah, we'll see. Like All right, Minnesota Wild. Okay, so this one very interesting. Okay, first of all, you get rid of Eric Stahl, who's a great veteran presence. You traded Marcus Johansson. So
you bring in Marcus Johansson. Now you got Kaprizov, right?
Yeah, but wasn't he on the thing in the playoffs?
I don't think he was. I think they just brought him up like this year.
Could be.
Not this past year. I think like this offseason they've decided they're going to give him
I thought before he played. I could be wrong.
I don't remember.
Okay, so
bring in Nick Bukestad also and Nick Bonino.
Nick Bonino's great depth. Um, and then you get Cam Talbot. What do you think about that?
I like it. I mean, maybe, Talbot's like just a little too iffy to call. Like he's shown flashes of brilliance and he's shown flashes of, complete head scratching times. I'm gonna have to say that they're in good shape. They made some nice.
I think with the fact that they got all this in mind,
their
they got
draft.
no. I was about to say they got a steal at the 9th pick. They got Marco Rossi because the Devils and Sabres were idiots, right?
Yeah.
I didn't even talk about how like the Sabres chose Jack Quinn, who's good, but they chose him over Rossi or Perfetti. Are they crazy?
Yeah, no. I have to say
think they're in good shape. I think they're in very good shape. They got Rossi. Very excited. Okay, Montreal Canadiens. All right, this is gonna be another one, right? Like Detroit.
Yeah, I think there's no question
I
about
think
it.
this is great, obviously, but let's just
It's
quickly
definitely great,
look
but
at
let's
it.
look at it more in depth.
Anderson to Foley to Foley. Re-signing Byron, trading for Edmonton, bringing up Romanov, and trading for backup depth in Jake Allen, and hold on, and getting Keaton Gooley, who I don't know much about.
No, but he's looked at to be a good.
Oh no, he's a top 10. He's a top 10 North Americans. Okay, yeah, he's a top.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay, so fine, yeah. I will definitely put this in great.
Offseason.
I will not future. I mean, that was different too, but definitely great, 100%.
Definitely a great offseason.
Definitely.
Nashville is one of the more intriguing.
This one's a question mark because you lose Mike Smith, right? Right.
You lose Craig Smith.
That's what I meant. I said Mike.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You gain Luke Kunin or
Kunin, but he's not Craig Smith. Like I'd rather have Craig Smith
right.
personally.
Nick Cousins.
Yeah, Nick Cousins, who's great. You got Brad Richardson, who's amazing depth.
Yeah. And then they gained Mark Borowiecki also.
Right. Right, and they drafted. Where's their pick? And they drafted. Oh, this is the most interesting one. So I don't know if you know much about the draft, but there was only one real pick that I was so unsure about who was going to get him, and it was the goalie. This team got him, Yaroslav Askarov.
Oh, right. That's who it was.
He's the goalie that everyone said to draft. No one knew where he was going to get drafted because it's very risky. Like you usually don't draft a goalie in the first round unless he's like a Carey Price or a Fleury.
Right.
So this is big. So I guess I'll put him in the. I don't know. I guess
I'd like to put him in good, but I mean, if you scroll up and look at who they've lost, also
they lost Smith.
Yeah,
that's big. I think I could put him good, like bottom good.
I mean, you kind of replace him with Luke Kunin, Kunin, however it's pronounced.
Whatever.
I would put him in good.
Devils
aren't one of those.
Okay, so I'm gonna put Devils in. I don't know yet. I don't want to put them in great. I think I want to put them in
I'll put them in good. I would take them in good. I wouldn't
put them in good because they addressed the
made moves, right? On paper,
they made 3 big moves, right? They got they traded for Johnson. They traded for Johnson. Did they always have Gusev? I don't remember.
They did. He was a rookie this past year.
Okay, so sorry. So they traded for Johnson. That was the offense. They traded
for
Ryan. They signed Ryan Murray. That's the defense, and they got Corey Crawford.
And Dmitry Kulikov also underrated depth pickup on defense. Guy who's been known to produce at levels.
Right. So I'll put him in the good category.
Yeah, definitely. No, definitely better. Definitely better than okay.
Obviously, improvement. Now, can we do Rangers last?
No, we're doing the Rangers in order. There's no saving best for last.
Right.
It's not happening, Joey. Because otherwise, we would have saved the Avalanche too. So
I just want to do it because it's our team, not because of best.
No, it doesn't matter. We'll do it now.
All right.
It doesn't make sense.
What do you mean? That's my favorite team. It's our favorite team. Come on.
Nah.
It's our show. Why not? Why do we have to do everything?
Bro, I'll tell you why. Because when Draftnik Mark talks about the offseasons that the team has, he doesn't save the Mets for last. He does the Mets in order of the.
No, he puts the Yankees toward the end so that people watch the whole thing. He said that, which is weird. Don't do that. Just do what you want. You're a Mets fan. I don't know why you're doing that. It's weird.
Well, he doesn't put his favorite team last, so we're not putting our favorite team last. Let's go.
Why do I have to do what Giraffe Marks? It's our show. Why do we have to do what he does?
Okay, I don't want to put him last either.
Okay, whatever. So yeah, you did not sign anybody on the Yeah, you lost Devin
Didn't
Taves
have a
for
draft pick.
nothing. And you got Corey.
No one in the draft.
We got Corey Schneider, who's not even on your depth chart. I guess he's your third string. So, and then you don't have a first round pick because you traded it from JG Pageau.
Yeah. So
yeah, you're
bad.
you're in the
Definitely
you're
bad.
definitely you could be okay, but I think you're bad. Okay. All right, Rangers. Okay, I think we had a pretty great offseason because we, without any problems, we had 4 guys who we thought 1 or 2 of them were going to go to arbitration. We had Georgiev, Strome, Lemieux, and D'Angelo, and surprisingly, none of them went to arbitration. They all got very good deals for them, right? Also,
Don't throw in drafting Alexi Lafreniere.
well, I was getting to that. I'm getting to that. I want to get the last bad thing out. We lost Foss. We got Johnson, so those are not great. We gave up Stahl, so we got rid of his contract.
Well, Johnson's like a low risk, high reward type of guy also.
Exactly. And we got rid of Stahl. We got rid of Stahl's contract, Albatross. And then we drafted Lafreniere. We traded up to get Braden Schneider. Okay. And yeah, and we got Keith Kincaid as a depth. So he might be a good piece for the expansion draft in a year. We still haven't. And we got some good depth in Kevin Rooney and Blackwell. I don't know. They're not on here right now, but I think they definitely will be on here. One of them will definitely be on here.
I just want to point out, I'm a little confused because if you go to the bottom and it says, like the rankings and everything like that, but Igor Shesterkin doesn't have a ranking, and it's weird because they only do that for the guys who haven't played, but Shesterkin played like 12, 13 games last year.
Maybe he hasn't played enough games. Because he only so. But yeah, I think.
I mean, I don't think Gautier played as many games as Shesterkin did, and he has a rating though. For example.
Oh, he did. He got right after the trade deadline.
Oh, fine.
Okay, so I think they had a great offseason.
Yeah, it's fair to say that.
All right, Ottawa Senators.
I think we should start to hurry it up.
It's trending upward. I don't know though exactly. I got to look at it. So, you get Dadonov.
Right, definitely a good piece.
Great pickup. Okay.
Alex Galchenyuk most recently.
Yeah, Alex Galchenyuk, who's low risk, high reward. You get Anisimov, right? I don't think he was always there.
Watson. Was Watson on that team? I don't think so. He was with
I don't think so. I think he was on the Predators. Zaitsev was there? I don't remember.
Zaitsev was there before.
Right? And then
I don't think they had.
And then you paid for Matt Murray. And then you had one of the best drafts. You got Sanderson. You got you got Tim Stützle. You got Tim Stützle. You got Jake Sanderson, and you got Ridley Greig, who I don't know much about. He's not on the top prospects, but whatever. You still got Stützle, who's going to be one of the best players, right? He's he's got a lot of hype, and Sanderson, you got a great D. So you adjust both sides of the puck, and you got Matt Murray. So I don't know, good, great. I could put this in great. I would
put it in great.
I could put it in great.
I feel like the depth of Austin Watson and Alex Galchenyuk has gone kind of
under. I'll put it in. I'll put it in great.
Okay. Not trading and getting Dadonov and Murray. I just think. Yeah.
I could definitely put it. Okay. So you guys, what did
the Flyers? Not much.
They didn't do anything. I would say this is trending bad. Maybe okay. They didn't do anything. I'm looking. I don't see anything.
Yeah.
I don't see anything. Was Justin Braun always there?
Yeah, he was there last year.
Okay. Yeah, you guys did nothing, so you get a F.
You're gonna have to put him in bad. That team looks good.
Look at their draft. Maybe there's something I'm missing in their draft. You got Tyson Forster. Good depth piece. Maybe you're okay, but you're bad.
Kind of like what everyone did. I don't know. Maybe we could put him in okay.
Maybe, but I think they're bad. They didn't do anything, so they're bad. If you don't do anything, okay.
It's not like they got worse though. They just didn't.
Yeah, but you did nothing. Off seasons are about making moves,
Well, the real question is, did they really need to though? That team could very well be competing for a championship recently.
I think they need more depth on the offense personally, but that's just me.
Okay, fine.
Okay. What did you guys do? Let's see.
They brought in Ryan Donato.
You got in Ryan Donato and the goal.
Devin Dubnyk.
You brought back Marlowe. You lost Joe Thornton.
Kind of like a trade-off there, I think, because Thornton's,
Yeah,
old.
exactly. So you got Donato and Stalock. So you addressed depth, and you got someone who could. You got a low risk, high reward guy that could come up if for some reason Jones
Devin
can
Dubnyk
do it.
also.
I'm saying for Devin Newman, I'm saying if
Yeah.
Jones can't pull it out, and you got Ozzy Weisblatt in the draft. I guess I don't know if you're good. I guess you're okay. I don't know.
I'll put him in okay. Yeah, nothing like.
Nothing special.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, I also think, though, it's a little too early kind of to tell because if Dubik returns to the ways he was
That's
back
what
in
I'm saying. That's why it's okay because we
Yeah.
don't know. It's like Anderson. So like we don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so here's the thing. This is a tough one. You got Torrey Krug, but you lost Alex Pietrangelo because you made that stupid trade for Falk, right? Like because you signed him.
Okay, but hold on.
No, but Josh, Josh, there's no argument. If you don't trade for Falk, if you don't sign Falk to that ridiculous contract, you get Pietrangelo and Krug.
You can't make that argument, though. That was last year. You can't fault them on what they had to do this year because of last year. It doesn't change who they brought in this past year. It could have been worse. They could have just.
I'm not saying that affects that. I'm not saying that Falk should have a say about how their offseason is. I'm just saying he's the cause of why it could be worse because they don't have Pietrangelo. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying not having Pietrangelo is big, okay? Because look, I'm looking at the whole thing. They didn't change anything except they got Kyle Clifford. That's pretty good depth. And they got Torrey Krug. I really like Torrey Krug. They got Torrey Krug. Okay. And then
I'm still going to say that they did good. Like Torrey, even so, okay, yes, they lost their captain. They still replaced him with someone who's not that much worse. They did good for what.
I'll put him in good. I'll put him in good. I just don't think they're great. I think they would have had one of the best off seasons over any team if they got Pietrangelo and Krug. I think it would have been so cool. You know?
Hey, look, it didn't happen, and I feel like you're faulting it all on Justin Falk. And I'm not saying
I'm faulting it on Justin Falk. I'm faulting it on whoever the GM.
No. I'm not saying that's not true. I'm saying it's irrelevant because it didn't happen this offseason. They didn't trade for him this offseason, and that's why they couldn't afford Pietrangelo and Krug.
No, I'm just saying it's a cause and effect thing. Because they traded for Falk, they had to sign him.
Okay, but they didn't think it was going to happen like this.
I don't know. All right, Tampa Bay didn't do a thing. Like you tried signing. You have to sign Sergachev.
I mean, they did re-sign Patrick Maroon and.
Right, that's true. But you have to sign. But I don't care about signing him over Sergachev and Cirelli.
Right.
The only way you're doing that is if you trade, and you haven't done any trades. You haven't traded anybody.
I'm pretty sure they
Shattenkirk. You lost Shattenkirk.
Was Shen on that team last year? Or?
Yeah, he was. I thought. Yes, he was. I was making a joke.
They also don't have Zach Bogosian anymore then.
They don't have. Yeah, exactly. So I would put them in the bad because they got worse. But I'm willing to put them okay if you want. But I don't think they did a good or a great.
No. I would put them in bad. They didn't really do anything.
They didn't do anything.
The Flyers,
they didn't do anything. And they had 2 first-round picks, and they gave it away for and I get it. It helped them win the thing, right? But they gave it away for Coleman. And
I'd put them in bad. Similar to the Flyers, except the Flyers didn't have to re-sign anyone.
Right, they don't have a problem. Like the Flyers could have done something. That's
right.
They were stuck. They were stuck.
Okay, so if you want to put them in okay, I'm okay.
I'll put them in bad. I know they were stuck, but they still could have traded Palat or Johnson or whatever. They still could have done that.
Right.
Okay. This one's really hard. This one's really hard. This is a lot of scenarios, right? You get Mikheyev, right? You get VC, you get Thornton, and you get Simmons, right? Robertson's coming up, but he was there last year, so I don't know. You get TJ Brody. That's a big plus in my opinion.
You also
Zach Bogosian. You get Zach Bogosian.
Lost Andreas Janssen. Keep that in mind.
And Kapanen.
Yeah. I'm gonna put them in okay. I mean, for what they brought in, it's nice. But
I want to put them in good because of their job. They got Rodion Amirov, who was a top-ranked prospect.
That's true.
A little bit of
shock. The draft.
You have to put everything. You have to do trades.
Yeah. Look,
I'm going to put them good. I'm going to put them good because, especially I'll put them in great if Simmons, Easy, Thornton,
Yeah, VZ in my opinion still has a lot of upside. Like he's gonna be around more.
I'm willing to put him in good, maybe okay, but like good. Right now I'm staring good. Okay, so I gotta go soon. So let's just try to finish this. Okay, this one you're not gonna agree with this one. I think maybe you will. I think they sucked. They're bad. Like they had
I don't
good.
think it sucked.
Yeah,
I don't think it
I don't know.
sucked.
I think it was bad.
I don't think it was.
I will admit getting Merrill. They got Merrill, John Merrill, right?
Right. It's a nice depth piece on their defense. They brought in Nate
And
Schmidt.
Nate Schmidt. They got
Kind of replaced with.
but they lost Stetcher.
They lost Stetcher. They lost Tanev.
Foley. And they signed Holtby, right? And I don't know how excited I am about Holtby.
Well, I'm pretty excited. I don't mind the bat. Like, and of all people, even if Holtby's not going to be a huge impact to that team, then Thatcher Demko is a good piece to have in place, replacing Jacob Markstrom, because he showed promise there. I wouldn't say that it was bad. I would kind of put them in okay for now because
I don't know, they didn't even get a draft pick because they traded it to Tampa for JT Miller, who traded it to Jersey.
They couldn't make up for all of it, but they definitely didn't lose out terribly.
Okay. All right, maybe I'll put them bad, but they're definitely not. They're okay.
They're definitely not in good, but I wouldn't put them in bad. I'd put them at okay.
I think they're bad, but whatever. All right, Golden Knights, baby. I'm willing to put them in great. I'm willing.
I think you have to. I think I'd have to agree. I mean, you brought in.
You know you lost Stastny.
You extended Leonard. They lost Stastny.
You lost Stastny. You lost Merrill. You lost Schmidt. But you got Pietrangelo.
You don't need Nate Schmidt if Alex Pietrangelo's.
You don't need John Merrill or Nate Schmidt.
Big, impossible, crazy as a balloon.
And then you also have the extension of Robin Leonard too.
By the way, that's huge. By the way, they gotta keep Leonard. That's a huge thing. They got. I don't remember.
They also lost. Who was it? The Predators got Nick Cousins, I think.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I don't remember about this, but is Stevenson, was he on the team?
Excuse me.
That's okay. Was Stevenson on the team last year?
Who?
Stevenson
was, yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay, yeah, and resigning Leonard was huge.
It was.
They got Brandon Brisson. They got Brandon Brisson in the draft, who was a high-ranked center. So yeah, I'm very excited for this team. Like this offseason, great, absolutely great. Okay, two more teams. All right, Washington Capitals. All right, so who'd you lose? Let's see.
They lost Holtby.
You lost Holtby, but you got Lundqvist?
Yeah.
We'll
see how that turns out.
I think it's a trade-off right now. I can't really, Was Panic always on the team? I don't remember.
He was last year.
Okay. I don't know anything about Brian.
Brought in Justin Schultz.
You got Schultz. That was big.
That was good. Nice replacement piece to oh man, who was the guy they had there before?
Niskanen.
No, not Niskanen. That was like not this past year. I mean, not what's it called. Like Niskanen wasn't there this past year. They had maybe it was Gudas. Like Gudas was on that team, I think.
Orpik?
No, Orpik was gone a while ago too. Okay. I don't know, but anyway.
No, but yeah, and then they drafted.
I'm pretty sure it was Redko Gudas.
And then they drafted LaPierre. So I don't know. I'll put them in the good because a lot of this is like uncertain, especially LaPierre with the injuries and stuff. I don't know if they're great. I think they're good. And you don't know about Lundqvist.
Yeah.
All right, last team. I'm not really sure. I think I'm willing to put great. And I'll tell you why. You get Stastny, right? You know that term, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. They just they went back to someone who helped them so much.
Yeah, I like the move there.
They got him. That's one.
I also like bringing in Nate Thompson. That was a nice move.
That's two.
Yeah. Now, keep in mind, though, they lost out on Dustin Byfuglien. Just keep in mind.
but that was last season, so I don't count that.
Okay, fine.
He did that earlier in the year, right?
Oh, fine.
And then this is the thing that I have to put them in great for. They got a steal in Cole Perfetti, right? Again, I don't know what the Devils or Sabres were thinking when they could have they had Cole Perfetti. Like this guy fell all the way to 10. He fell in their laps. So I'm willing to put him in great.
Okay. I'll agree with you on the after the draft pick.
I'm saying that's what I mean. We have to pick everything in the account. Okay. So thank you everybody for joining the JJ Sports podcast, and we'll see you next week.